be 666?
Well, it most certainly could be, because these people play with all of these ancient symbols. Here's another thing you might not know: the full stop, the dot. Yeah, you'll also find the dots on paperwork from certificates, from free Masonic certificates. That they'll have 3 dots in the shape of a pyramid in between words at the top of the heading. Well, the full stop used to also be a 6. So that's 3 6s in the shape of a pyramid on the Masonic paperwork.
Would you be surprised to see a UFO land when the Nephilim arrive?
Well, I had a couple of dreams. I've got them written down. I can dig them out now, but I could give dates for them. And one of them, I saw a load of what looked like men, okay, just looked like men, but they were military men, and they were all grey. I mean, their faces were grey, they had capes on, the uniforms looked very American, and they were beneath the ground, and they were very tall columns, and all of these soldiers with their guns were all pointing in one direction. So, you know, there was darkness about this dream. So they were coming for action. Why would I see that underneath the ground? Dreams, you know, dreams are from God. You know, there was another dream where I saw a UFO, if you like, a flying saucer, and it was gold, just solid gold, gleaming, and it had all these heads which were gold on it, but the heads were heads of a dragon, and they were alive, but this thing was made out of gold. And that dream was to explain how spectacular the return of who I now know as Helios will be, and how astounding it will be. The Bible says that everyone will be amazed at the beast. Well, to be amazed, you've got to see something spectacular, and that's what you're going to see. And when he returns, the Bible says that he's going to him and his locusts, as it's called there, are going to torture people for 5 months. What's going to happen prior or after that, I'm not too sure. When I see things like, this Santa Claus thing, like, Satan Claus, and he lives in the north, and you look at Google Earth, and, the polar ice cap has apparently melted, according to them. It's not there. They disappeared. People started finding things on there. And there's been rumours of a hole in the north, yeah? And you've got stuff like Superman, whose base is in the polar ice cap. You've got Santa Claus, who lives in the polar ice cap. Or a Superman is what Hitler referred to, to Nephilim, or to Tares. And that's what they would be compared to us, like Supermen, because we can't beat them in strength and what have you. This Santa Claus character who's dressed in red, whose name is an anagram for Satan, who lives in the north, again, and he flies in a chariot. Never mind what it's powered by, he flies in a chariot. He comes and he gives gifts to all those who have been good. Well, yeah, I can believe that, because he's been giving gifts to all the Masons and Satanists for a very long time, Satan has, hasn't he? In the form of these agreements that they've got that keep us excluded from everything. And he's probably going to come and bring more gifts. We need to be beguiled. We need to be amazed, yeah? So suddenly along comes this being who has bought all these presents for us, a spectacular return which has astounded us and left us in awe and wondering whether, is this God? These beings from another planet? Wow, what you mean they made us? Wow, how exciting, and then we're told, yes, and we're going to travel the universe. Or, we could be told all sorts of crap, I mean, I don't bring it down to baseness, it's as silly as someone taking the line, will you still love me in the morning? Oh yeah, of course I will. Yeah, sure. No, this is. Eve was beguiled in the Garden of Eden by Satan.
Beguiled means seduced, and you can't be successful in being seduced unless there was sex, right?
Well, hang on. you know, there's more than one way of saying that, because the Bible talks about, you know, the great whore of Babylon's fornication, you know, and that's to do with these people joining hands in agreement and that. The word seduced, in the book of Proverbs, it talks about the harlot who stops a man who's just going on his way, and, you know, and she's married, and she talks him into, you know, coming to bed with her. And it says in there, with her ways, with her words, she forced him. Okay? And that's what seduction is. Seduction is force.
Got another question for you. Could the mark on the right hand, Revelation 13:16, I'm not sure, I know 13, but I don't know that verse, maybe the mouse we use in our PC, is that possible?
Say that again, what?
Okay. The mark on our right hand, could that be the mouse that we use with our computers?
I don't think it's that, but look, here's the thing. Let me show you something else that's really freaky. This is how deep this goes, okay? In your area, I mean, I live in London, and there is road humps everywhere. It's a nightmare. You go over the road hump, bang, bang, up, down, up, down. I mean, you know, they're every so often. They're not even far apart from each other, and they're really high. And they've all got two pyramids painted on them. As you approach from whichever end, you'll see two pyramids, okay? So you go over the pyramid with your car. And as I explained to you a while ago, the original A, sorry, it was in my video, my blog, sorry. The original A didn't have a cross member. You know, it was like a V, an upside down.
Oh, okay.
And then it's also shown with a cross member, but not in the middle, at the bottom, so it becomes a triangle as well. Okay, that's an A. All right? So, like I've shown with the pyramids and the X and the flying saucer, it's alpha, chi, omega. Yeah? That's what it's showing. If you look at my videos, you'll see that the pyramid is an alpha. The X that they use on these Masonic symbols, not talking about, is like swirling thrust. The X is the snake noise there, and then you've got a half dome side view cutaway flying saucer as the omega. Gotcha. Alpha here. Right. So you're driving. You're driving down the road. You go over the alpha. Yeah. That's on the hump. You go over the alpha, and what do you go over the alpha with? The Omicron, your wheels, Omicron or Omega, AO. So you are saying AO, AO. You're saying it 4 times, actually. It's 4 wheels on your car, and you're going over them, AO, 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 as you go over, and then you go over the next one, AO, 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 AO. So these Satanists are watching a worshipful ritual being performed by you,
a hidden, unbeknownst, subliminal type.
Against your knowledge, so you don't know that you're doing it. Okay, and this gives them this sense of power. And Jesus said that, you know, when you, it's our job to find these things and reprove them. You know,
right?
And
they got to go ahead.
They are just saying they are just so ridiculously simple. But when you don't know the common denominator, you don't know where to begin. Once you find some of them, and then you get to the core of the matter, which is Helios, Apollyon, the destroyer, you can work your way out from there then and look at all the rest of it, because now you've got to the root. You have got the basic common denominator, and you can fit the rest of your evidence around that and correct any mistakes that you've got.
So it makes sense to me that you would use Greek. And by the way, Chris, you're Greek. It's kind of nice to be able to use a language you're familiar with. But, you know, that's the language that was predominant when Christ was here. The Romans were the dominating, occupying force of the Greeks. So the Roman numerals make sense also. By the way, we have a comment. I'm sure it goes back to some other kinds of thoughts. It's a comment, but I think I can form it into a question. It says, why are there more persons, mythical persons, born on the 25th of December and they resurrect after 3 days and have 12 followers and did